Are you looking for some cute DIY ornaments that you can make with your kids or grandkids or just by yourself without breaking the bank? Well, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIY and home decor and more. Today I have for you 10 of the cutest, most adorable, most inexpensive, easy ornaments that you can make using items that you probably already have around your house or that you can get really easily. Now, don't forget to stick around till the very end and I'll have a hint on one of next week's projects. So, let's get started. Here's a quick sneak peek into all 10 of today's ornaments. I am so excited for this. And that brings us to ornament number 1. Isn't this little nativity so adorable? So you're just going to need 5 tumbling tower blocks. Now I chose to use the brown ones. And then 2 of the little angels that you can buy at the Dollar Tree. Some twine, a star, and some scrap fabric. I'm choosing to use the scrap piece of, I think it's a tea towel that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And I am going to take the wings off of one of the angels, and this is going to be little baby Jesus, and we are going to wrap him up in some swaddling tea towel, and I will hot glue that together and set that aside. Next thing we are going to do is hot glue. Now instead of hot glue, you could also use wood glue or super glue or E6000 or whatever you choose to use to put your blocks together. So we're going to put 2 on the outside of the bottom block, and then we're going to use the other 2 to make the roof line of our house. So we'll glue those on each side of the roof and then together. Next, I'm going to take some of this Excelsior, and if you don't have any of this, you could use the moss or you could use some straw, whatever you happen to have laying around, and we'll give that a little haircut and then scrape that all up because, you know, I am a little OCD, guys, and we're going to go ahead and add that right onto our little nativity. Next thing we are going to do is take little baby Jesus and set him in there. Now his little swaddling clothes were a little bit too big, so I'm going to trim those down and then glue him in there till he's nice and snug. Then I will take our star. Now I bought this in a pack I believe I got on Temu, and it already had the little hole in the top. You can use any star you have. Then I glued my angel on there, grabbed some scrap twine and ran that through that tiny little hole and then cut it off and made a little hanger out of this. We'll give it a good old knot, and that's all there is to this project. It is so super simple, and you can embellish this up or just leave it simple like this. And here it is on the tree. Now I want to say today is part of a playlist, first of the month playlist hosted by Brenda at Rustic and Lace DIY and Krista at Krista's Crafty Life. And it is also the first day of the 12-day Crafts of Christmas video that they're going to be putting out. And this is project number 2. It's a wire star. So I took this star that I had in my supplies and I just used it as a template. Now, if you don't have a star as a template, you can just draw one out. Super simple. I just grabbed some scrap cardboard and trace that around and then cut it out. The next thing we are going to do is grab our wire. Now I've got all kinds of different wires. You can use whatever wire you have hanging about, whether it's something you picked up on clearance or Dollar Tree or whatever you've got in your craft supplies. So we are going to take that wire and we are going to wrap it around and around and around this cardboard, making sure that we get good coverage, but not complete coverage because there's going to be a twist to this. Get ready for it. So we're going to go ahead and just keep wrapping that wire around our cardboard star, being careful not to bend up our cardboard too much, but you want that wire to sit down nice and flat. Now this wire that I am using is a gauge 20 24 wire. So gauge 24 is going to be not as tight and thick as like a gauge 20, but it's not going to be, you know, super flimsy either. Once we get this all wrapped around our cardboard star, then it will still be malleable, so you could still, you know, bend it and ruin it if, you know, you weren't careful with it, but it's also going to allow you to easily work with this product. Now, if you want to go with something a little bit tighter, you could go with a gauge 20 wire instead. All right, so get ready for the fun part. We are going to take this to the sink. Now, I had fully intended on doing this in my outdoor sink and not in my house, but it is super windy. So in the name of safety, I turned on my ceiling fans and my vents and stuck this in my sink. And we are going to light that cardboard on fire and burn it all out of our star. So you can see I just set it on fire and let it burn and then tapped that out. Then we're going to grab this little scrap piece of ribbon that I had from, I believe I cut him off of Frankenstein at doing Halloween crafts, and we're going to make a little hanger for it. For this video, I just stuck it at the top of my tree, and I love this star so much. Again, super simple. And that will bring us to ornament number 3. Now, this one is some of those acorn tops that are left over from a video that I did a couple weeks ago. Using things from nature. Now, if you haven't seen that video, I'll have it linked in the comments below. I'll also have Brenda and Krista's channels linked in the comments below, as well as the whole playlist. So this is a playlist of a lot of different creators, and I just know that you will enjoy this. So I took one of the 2-pack of the clear ornaments that you can buy at Dollar Tree and just set it up on something so that I would have easy access to the whole thing, and just took those little acorn tops and I snipped off any rough edges that were on the top so that with a little hot glue it would lay flat on the ornament. And I did that until I had the entire ornament all the way covered. Now, as you can see, it took a lot of these little acorn tops, but as I've found, and I'm sure you've found too if you've ever been looking at acorns, the tops fall off relatively easily, and sometimes those are easier to find than whole acorns. Now, once I've got all those on there, I put some lights inside, just little fairy lights. You don't have to do that part if you don't want. And I grabbed some sand. Now, you could do glitter or whatever you have around, but I thought this sand had a little bit of shimmer to it, and also, you know, gave it just a little bit of extra texture. And I grabbed my Mod Podge. Now, you don't have to use Mod Podge. You could just use regular glue, and I put some around the edges of each of those acorn tops and then doused them with a little bit of sand. Now, I also took some of that Mod Podge and I set it up in between some of those acorn tops where you could still see the clear. And I thought when the lights were shining, and you'll see it later, when the lights are shining, it just gives it that extra kind of opaque appearance. And so I just did that for the entire acorn tops on this ornament. Now, the last thing I did was to take some of this wired ribbon and I threaded it through the top of the ornament and made a little shoestring bow. And then because this is wired ribbon, I was able to, after I cut the end off, and then I just kind of gave both sides a little diagonal cut, then I was able to just wrap it into a little curly Q just to give it a little bit of extra flavor and fun. And then this project is complete. Now you can see kind of that shimmer where I've got the sand in between all of the little different acorn tops. And I just thought this was just such a fun and unique craft, and you know, was about 50 cents without the lights. So you can't get much simpler than that. And here's ornament number 4, and talk about simple but cute. I just took one of those full acorns and I painted the bottom part of the acorn white and was just real careful not to get it on the top part of the acorn. Now you could go in and color the top part of the acorn. Obviously, we're going to make a snowman out of it. And if you wanted to give your snowman a little black hat, you could color that or paint that acorn top black. Once you've gotten the acorn painted fully white, and I believe it took me 2 coats to get it really nice and covered, I went in with some of my paint markers and drew my snowman on a little face using black for his eyeballs and for his mouth, and then I also created him some little eyelashes that I forgot to get on camera, but you can put him on some eyebrows or decorate him any kind of way you want. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know my orange paint marker is just about out of paint. So I went in there with some pumpkin chalk paint by Waverly. Then I added in some white little highlights onto his eyeballs. Next thing I am going to do is take a Cricut weeding tool, and we are going to poke a hole through that cap. Once we've gotten the hole put through, then I'll grab my utility knife and I am going to make that hole just a little bit bigger because we want to be able to get some twine through it. Now, as you've got your cap off, if you wanted it painted black, this is where you'd go ahead and get that painted black. Then we've got some twine pieces that I have from some of the wood ornaments that you can buy from Dollar Tree, and I just pushed that through there and knotted it off and gave it a nice little trim. Then we'll give that top a good dose of some hot glue and put that back on top of our little acorn. And this is complete. Now you could put on a gingerbread face or a Santa face, or you could make whatever kind of holiday face on there you wanted, but I love my snowmen, as you guys well know. And so this one got a snowman face. And as for snowman, ornament number 5 is another snowman. Now this is just a champagne cork. If you don't drink champagne, maybe you can find a friend who does. Or just use a wine cork or whatever you have that's in this shape. And I went ahead and painted the top white and took a little eye hook and put that in and finished painting it. Grabbed my paint markers and we're going to draw him on a cute little face, starting with some eyeballs. Now, if you don't have paint markers, you could also do this with a Sharpie marker, or you could paint it in with a detail brush and some chalk paint. So we'll go ahead. Oops, one too many of those little dots in the wrong place. So we're going to go ahead and give him some highlights in his eyeballs, and he almost looks like a skeleton face there. But once we get our little once we get our little carrot nose put on there, then he will look like a snowman. And this snowman is not going to have a little hat, but we are going to put a little scarf on him. But I'm also going to just kind of detail that out. We'll give him some little eyebrows, and I outlined his little nose in some brown and then added some buttons on. And now we're going to get to the scarf, and we're just going to take some of this little baker's twine and we're going to tie it around and give him a nice little baker's twine scarf. Get that all trimmed off, and we'll use that same baker's twine to make a little hanger from his little eye hook there. And that's all there is to this project too. Could not get any more simple than that. And here he is, and I just find him so cute and adorable. Again, you could put on some other details, make him a little hat, maybe hide the eyelet hook there underneath a little hat, or whatever way you wanted to decorate it. Now, if you've been watching me anytime at all, you know I love to do wire art. So here is a continuous line drawing that I drew of a nativity. Now I'm just going over it with a Sharpie marker just to make it a little bit darker, easier for you guys to see. And also it kind of gets in my head how I want to do that wire. So we're going to start on the far left side, and I'm just going to grab some wire. This is a 20 gauge wire. I wanted something a little bit stiffer that's going to hold the shape really well but still be pretty malleable. And then I have these jewelry pliers that I bought at the Dollar Tree, along with my other little pliers that I bought at Harbor Freight. And we're going to get that wire kind of all straightened out and give our little nativity a good straight wire to get started with. And then we'll use our jewelry pliers to help us build some edges there. It's a little bit hard to do the edges just straight with your fingers, so the jewelry wires do help. Now, as we're doing that star, you'll notice I only drew 4 pieces to that star, and at first it starts looking like a flower, but I will fix it. When I got to the 4th piece, however, I was on the wrong side of the stable, and so it was very easy to add in that 5th piece, even though I hadn't drawn it on there. So you'll notice how I'm trying to get that wrapped around, get it twisted on the right direction, and then we'll fold this over. And once we are on the right side of the stable, then we will go ahead and get that side of the roof line done, and then work down to our Mary, baby Jesus, and Joseph. Now you can see I drew them probably slightly better than the wire bent for me. Given enough time, I could have fudged with it a little bit more, but I was really trying to get this done for you quickly and have as many quick, cheap, and cute ornaments for you guys that I could possibly put together for this video. So you can kind of see we're just gonna run that wire along our drawing using your fingers and your pliers as needed to just follow that line and complete our little manger scene. Now as we get closer to the end there, we're going to go ahead and figure out how much wire we need to complete it. Now this particular project, I am going to wrap that end around the beginning and just kind of a little hook so that it stays there and keeps our Holy Family all standing up nice and taut in there. And then we'll go back and tighten up all our pieces. Once we've gotten that done, then I will grab some more of that scrap black ribbon and burn off the edges so that it doesn't fray and make it into a little hanger. And this little wire nativity scene is complete. I think it is just so adorable. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And that'll bring us to ornament number 7. I can't believe we've already done 6. So this one, I raided my husband's golf bag, I have to admit, and I grabbed 8 of his golf tees. Now, if you don't have golf tees, you could just use like a dowel or maybe one of the little skewer sticks from the Dollar Tree and cut it into 8 pieces, and then we will give that a dab of hot glue. Now we're going to give that dab of hot glue just a second to harden a little bit, and then we will flip it over and give it another dab of hot glue. Now make sure that you've got enough to keep all your pieces together. Now I didn't have a plastic tray or anything real handy, so I just grabbed a little bit of aluminum foil and put that in there. Now to put on our little snowflake that we are making, I just grabbed some all-purpose glue, and I am going to use these little, we'll call them glitter dots that you can buy at Dollar Tree. Now you could also use Epsom salts or the little Dollar Tree snow or real glitter, whatever you happen to have around or whatever is going to match with your decor. And once we've gotten the one side done and dry, then we're going to flip it over. Then we're going to grab another one of those little pieces of ribbon and fold it over and add some hot glue to that to make it a little hanger. And then we're going to spray both sides really good with some hairspray to keep all that glitter stuff from flaking off. And here is our quick and easy snowflake. You could make bunches of these. And that brings us to ornament number 8. This is just a cute little sorghum ball cardinal. So you can either take your sorghum ball and dab some red paint all around, and you don't have to make a cardinal. You could make a bluebird or some other kind of bird, but cardinal is really Christmassy. Then I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of twigs and we're going to make some little bird feet. And because they were kind of on the tan side, I decided to give them a little bit of brown, truffle brown chalk paint. I took my sorghum balls outside and I actually spray painted them red. I got better coverage and I liked this color red better. And then I grabbed a little bit of black chalk paint and painted him on a little beak. And then when I put his legs in, I discovered they were a little bit longer than what I wanted them to be. So we're going to trim those off. Then we are going to use some more of that ribbon and make a knot in there. Add some hot glue into one of those little holes in the sorghum ball and poke that ribbon right in there to make our little hanger. Once we've gotten that all situated, we're going to go ahead and glue our feet into the base. So the piece with the ribbon on it, that will be his head, and obviously we painted his beak there, and this piece will be his body. Once we've got his feet all glued in, we're going to add another dab of hot glue on there to glue the head to the body. Make sure you get that good and stiff. Then I just grabbed some of these red feathers, and I got these in a package at, I want to say Michael's. Huge package of different kinds of feathers, but they do carry feathers at Dollar Tree, so you can grab them there. And we are going to give him a nice little big feather tuft at the end, and then we'll take one of those feathers that we trimmed off and put that on his little head. And this little cardinal is complete. Look at him. Isn't he stinking adorable? I love his feet. Guys, I am in love with his little feet. And that will bring us to ornament number 9. This is probably one of my favorites. Of course, I love snowmen. So we're just going to take a wood round. Now you can buy these with the holes already drilled in them, but my husband cut these for me out of a tree branch. And so I'm going to use my handy dandy pink drill, and I am going to drill a hole in there and then grab my handy dandy little desk vacuum and clean up my mess. Then we are going to take some twine and make a little hanger for our ornament there. And then we are going to get to painting. Now I brought out my paints, but I also brought out my paint markers. And I have now gotten a new black paint marker and a new orange paint marker, so get ready. So first we are going to start with part of his head, and then we are going to outline his little scarf, and we're going to make it kind of flowy and wavy so it looks like it's waving in the breeze. And once we've gotten the 2 pieces of the scarf, we'll add the little knot and the end of the scarf, and then finish out his little body. And we'll put that black up there on his hat, so we'll make him a little brim, and then his little hat, and we'll color that all in with our paint marker. Now guys, if you don't have paint markers, you could also do this with a detail brush and just some paint. Or you could also do it with some colored Sharpies. So next we are going to grab our green paint marker, and I'm going to give his hat a little green sash across there to kind of break up that black color. And then we are going to color in his scarf and make that a nice Christmassy green color. You could color in whatever color makes you happy or suits your decor. Once we've gotten that done, then I'm going to grab some white chalk paint and an angled detail brush, and I am going to paint in his little snowman head and his little snowman body with the white chalk paint. Now I use Waverly that you can buy at Walmart, but you can use whatever paint you happen to have on hand. If you have one of those white chalk markers from Dollar Tree, you could also use that. Then I'm going to come back with my paint marker, and I'm going to add him in some eyeballs and outline his little carrot nose, and then give him a funky little smile and a couple of buttons for the front of his body. Then we'll go in with our fresh orange paint marker and color in his little nose. Next, I'm going to give his little eyeballs a little highlight and make sure he's all good. Then I am going to dry fit my little snowflakes. Now, I bought these snowflakes on Temu. If you don't have any little snowflake pieces like this, you could definitely just draw them on or paint them on. That would look just as cute. And then we'll give those a good little dab of hot glue to stick those down. And our last finishing touch is to come in with a little bit more of that white chalk paint and just dab some little flakes kind of in the background, and that will finish off this little project. And I think he is just stinking adorable. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what kinds of projects you would like to see for the remainder of the Christmas holiday, crafting holiday season. And that brings us to our final ornament, ornament number 10. I told you guys I rated my husband's golf bag, so here's one of the golf balls. Now, if you didn't watch last week, well, actually on Tuesday, I made a very cute penguin out of a couple of golf balls. So if you didn't see that, I'll have that linked below too. So I'm going to go ahead and paint most of this golf ball and then dry it off and finish painting the rest. Then I'll take that golf tee and I am going to give it a nice thick coat of some orange, pumpkin orange chalk paint by Waverly. Once we have gotten that done to the point that it's at my fingers, I'm going to grab my little heat gun again. Now this is just a regular old, low voltage heat gun. It's not my handy dandy big one that I use for wood burning. But just enough to dry off my project. And if you don't have one, no worries, grab your blow dryer. All right, now I'm going to take my weeding tool, and this is the weeding tool that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm not using my expensive Cricut one, and I just poked a hole in there to get started with our eye hook. And then I grabbed some black hot glue, and this was a fabulous way to give his eyeballs and his mouth some little extra texture and character. So we're going to go ahead and draw on his little mouth there using that hot glue. Now I have a really cheap separate glue gun that I use with my colored glue. That way it's set and ready to go when I need it, but it's not taking up space in my regular glue gun. And I got that one piece not in the place I wanted it, so I took it off and added on a new piece. Then I grabbed some scrap twine that I had pulled off another project, tied it around that eye hook to give it a hanger. Then I grabbed some of this floral wire and rounded it around and cut it to make his little earmuffs. Got a couple of little pom-poms there, and we are going to add those on and glue those along with his wire, and this project is complete. I think he is so stinking funny, and I love how long his nose is with that golf tee. What do you guys think? Here is another quick rundown of all 10 of today's projects. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. If you recreate any of today's ornaments, I would love to see them. Please take pictures and email those to happytuesdaydiy@gmail.com. Also, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and click the bell so that you'll be notified next time I upload a video. Don't forget to hit that playlist and see what all the other creators came up with. I'm excited to see what kinds of shenanigans they've been up to. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around with me till the very end, here's your hint on one of next week's projects. You are going to need a big wood round, not too thick or heavy. I found this on clearance at Hobby Lobby. A smaller wood round, and 3 of their $1.25 candy canes. But until then, make it a great day and happy Friday!